All right, any questions in reference to USB cable connectors A or B? Any problems at all? All right, so I guess no questions. We'll go to the next slide. On slide 13, we have here more A and B connectors. We have the micro A connector. You have then the USB 3.0 A and B. Once again, the same thing. If you know what A is, then obviously the other one, whatever funky looking thing it is, it must be the B. Make sense? So we need to be able to recognize that when I see this blue identical connector as in the 1.0 USB, if it is blue and it's a rectangle, that is a dead giveaway that it is a 3.0 type connector and will not fit in any USB 1 or 2. If it's black, it could be 1 or 2, but if it is 3, it will be blue. And the variance between your B connectors there, as you can see, you have your regular B and then you have your micro on the bottom. Any questions?
Hey, Diego.
Mm-hmm.
One thing about the micro A connector, those usually have a cylinder in line. Like I've noticed that with a lot of those connectors that I've had to use a couple different cameras. I wonder, is that always a thing? Is that always going to be on like your micro A cable?
I'm sorry, it's breaking up for me here. In reference to the micro, I heard something about something in the middle of it.
Yeah, the micro A cable in line. There's always like a big cylinder.
Never.
Like in the picture.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
In the first picture, it has the cylinder under the connector. It's like a black cylinder that's on the wire.
This thing here? Oh, this guy.
Yes.
This guy, that's right before the connector of the B. That's not on the A connector itself. This is the B part of I'm sorry, the micro A connector, you're right. That's the micro A connector. You're right. That was my fault. Micro A connector has that little doohickey on the tip. That was my fault. Getting confused with the other ones. But yes, it's like a little it looks like, from my understanding and what I've seen, it's like a little magnet or something there. I'm not sure exactly what's in it, but you are correct. That's always that I've seen. That's one dead giveaway, that it is the micro A cable. When it's A to A, thank you for pointing that out. Any other questions or doubts? Thank you, Jordan and Christina. Hey, I gotta get that background now. Now she's making me jealous with the Matrix. I'm gonna get the one that's animating the Matrix. How's that?
Oh, I go on Matrix to find you.
Next slide.
That's why you can find him in low power. Now you did. We don't see anything on your screen.
I know, neither do I. That's what I was gonna say. What's on slide 14? I got nothing.
Oh, I think we lost him again.
On my way.
Oh, Pablo, you got power.
No, I didn't.
Oh.
I'm on my phone.
Life is the worst. Mm-hmm.
Right, I think he's back.
Welcome back, Cotter. Can you hear me now?
The office. Yeah, we hear you.
Modern technology. All right. Everything seems to be back. That's why my computer started going a little bit crazy. All right. So Let's see if I have the internet back completely and I can share my screen one more time. There's nothing on slide. Is it me or is there nothing on slide 14?
Well, there is. It's just that I think your internet's not showing it.
Yeah, 14 just shows the Type-C connectors. Or like pictures of all the little connectors.
Okay. Here we are. So you have your Type-C connectors, fully reversible. This one you'll see a lot on the new Samsungs or LG phones. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen it. It doesn't care which way you plug it in, or that trying to stick it in the hole the wrong way. So, can somebody tell me what is A?
USB.
What's the which one there? Can you, without even looking at the labels? Come on, guys, you can tell me which one's A, right? Which one's A?
USB.
Yeah, it's USB.
USB A.
It could be-
The first one, right? The first one on the left. It's easy to tell which ones are the B. Do we agree?
Yes.
Now the hard part is knowing which one's a micro B and which one's a regular B. For me, it's a little bit easier because the B came out so long ago, and it's for me, the A and the B are the usual ones that I used to see way back in the day, and this would be in the back of a printer. And then this would go straight to your computer, right? Those are easy, and so is the micro B here. Now, the ones that get tricky here are knowing the names of the micro, the mini, the lightning, and then the only other one that's pretty easy, I would say, is the lightning and the C. Anyone know which one's the lightning?
It's the iPhone cable.
That is correct. That is the easiest way to remember it. If you know what the iPhone cable is, that is lightning cable. And then the ones that usually now the Samsungs are using, or the fancy ones that look like this, that's the Type C.
Mm.
That's the only way you could probably memorize it. The ones in the middle are a little bit harder. I know that this here, like I said, is B, and then this guy, I recognize him also, and I know he's the mini because that's when on the old cell phones, that's what they usually had, the old Samsungs. Then they gradually went to the micro, which was this guy here, and then obviously the micro B. Questions or doubts on the cables or connectors? That's just, unfortunately, memorization game. Okay, Firewire. Firewire has all the features of USB, but uses different types of connectors. Supports 4-pin, 6-pin. Guys, remember, if you're not going to be talking, please mute yourselves. Right, so a maximum though cable is 4.5, runs up to 400 megabits and 16 only chain devices versus obviously USB, much larger amount. The B version uses a 9-pin rectangular connector, runs at 800 versus the 400. And this is the beautiful part, 100 meters on the Firewire B. Allows up to 63 Firewire devices to be chained together. Any questions on A or B? Firewire symbol. Anybody know when more or less
I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What does it mean by daisy chain?
One after another.
One after another, meaning like you have a hard drive and then that hard drive is connected to the other chain of another drive, and etc.
It's not a hard drive per se. I don't think I've seen hard drives on these Firewires, but any devices that are coming, you could put a hub. Another one that you probably seen. Anybody remember the Game Boys or the Nintendos?
I do. I love
I was running on Firewire. You connect two devices together with that.
Yep.
Oh, and then you could connect 3 or 4, right? You chain it up.
Chain.
That's
Keep on
virtually
chaining. You make that big circle. You remember in the Game Boy, you just kept on making the big, humongous circle. As long as eventually the circle terminates, then yeah, you're pretty much
Oh,
or
okay,
line
I get it.
or line. You can connect one to the other, right? Yeah. So, anyways, so just like in USB is the same thing. They have features of hubs and other things that you can put in the middle to split the signal, and then when you're running out of ports, you put another hub and you just keep on splitting the signal. It's able to do it. So, any questions on slide 16? They're just showing you obviously the two tips of the Firewire and the symbol that represents Firewire. So whenever you see that next to any port, that means Firewire. You see
I have a
lightning,
question.
that's Thunderbolt.
When you're like splitting the signal, does it like does signal get weaker the more you're splitting it, or does it stay the same?
Good question. That starts taking into the wattage of that it's pulling. So the farther we get, that's why the USB only gets so far. But yes, the more you use, the more watts it's gonna have to pull to be able to create it. So these wires are able to pull that much wattage. It's a thicker cable too. Once again, this is all it plays into the previous session where we're talking about the PSU. How much can I understand what the wire and the technology can do. How much can the PSU give me? How much load can I actually grab from this PSU to do what they're saying? That's the other limitation that we have. But in theory, that's it should work if everything else is working correctly. And hopefully that answers better the question, because I know some people, if you don't have enough and you start connecting a lot of things, it's not going to work. So infrared. Daniel, if you can help us out here with infrared.
Infrared is an outdated wireless technology to connect personal devices. IR requires an obscured line of straight up to 5 meters between the transmitter and receiver. It allows up to 4 megabytes for fast speed IR, up to 1.15 megabytes for medium speed IR, and up to 115 kilobytes for slow speed IR. Today, the most common use of infrared is by remote controls and passive motion sensors.
Yes, and there's plenty of devices that we still are computing and programming infrared with that utilize infrared. So don't be confused by the terminology of outdated wireless. It's still being used in a lot of devices. And if you are a programmer, you may, if you're controlling devices like this, you will have to obviously deal with your IR ports.
I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
On the Network Plus, I remember reading somewhere that infrared is, there's a different version of infrared that can do more speeds.
Yes.
Do you know what's the actual difference between those? Like, it's the same technology, right? But it just uses something different, like a different protocol or a different transmission?
I believe it is the device itself and the amount that it can of light that it can actually. I think there's infrared that goes like to satellites or something like that for some other things. I'm not sure where they use it, or if it was in satellites or for transmitting far. But in theory, those things are pretty big, though, the ones that you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm just curious because I noticed that there's so many different versions, and I'm trying to remember, okay, this is this version and that version, especially when it comes to antennas.
Yeah, well, the maximum of those, though, remember, those are, I think it's maybe a mile or two. They don't go too far. It's more of a laser beam, concentrated laser beam or something like that. It's not this little weak control like this one. It's pretty strong beams. And I'm not sure of the throughput. I think it was, because this is old, so I think it was comparable to 10 megabytes. Don't quote me, I'm not sure, but I think it was like 10 megabytes or something like that. It wasn't that fast.
Got it. I guess it depends on the power and its usage that
Correct.
defines it.
It's all, and it's a line of sight system. You know, it's you gotta have from one location to the other. You have to be able to physically see it. Not you as in the as in the eye, obviously, but as you as in the antenna's line of sight. They have to be able to see each other for it to be able to see it. So this in satellite has a lot of problems in communication because you're sensitive to any atmospheric changes. If you have problems with clouds, fog, anything that comes in the line of sight, obviously in this case it would probably be a fog for infrared, but for satellite, any of the rainfall and even in infrared, if it starts raining real hard, you start losing connection.
If
Mhm.
something's outdated, right? Like,
Well,
I
it's
don't get
outdated because it's not being used anymore. There's much more faster transmission rate, and this is only being used in some locations for purposes of remote controls and stuff like that. But it's not really being used a lot as a communication. Actually, here it says line of sight up to 5 meters. Sorry about that. But some of them do go up to like up to 10, I think up to 10 megabits, the new one. Any other questions on IR? Okay, cool. Next slide. So you have Bluetooth. There's another radio frequency. This one could go up to 10 meters, and it works on the band of 2.4 gigahertz band, wireless. Offers up to 3 megabytes on the version 2.0, but obviously, like anything, the fastest doesn't mean that's where you're going to be going. The average is around 2.1 megabits per second. Any questions on Bluetooth and the band? So you have your PS2 and mini DIN connectors. As I stated, the purple or blue, depending on the model, it's usually either blue or purple, is always going to be the keyboard, and you have your actual mouse. Next slide, 20, we have our DB9s. You have your DB9 serial port connectors. That's for your COM ports. One side's a male, the other side's female. It's pretty simple. Male obviously is the one with the pins, and the female is the one with the holes. Same here now. This is a Db25 connector. You should be able to quickly know that anything that looks like this shape is a DB connector. I believe under the guy's name. I don't remember his name. I believe it's some German guy. Don't quote me again.
Is it called DB25 because it has 25 pins or holes?
Yes, that is correct. It's a DB9 because this one has 9, and DB is a type of connector, so it's 9 because it has 9. And this one again is a DB connector, but this one has 25 ports. I'm sorry, pins or holes. And hopefully that makes it very easy to figure out. So if you're ever stuck, that makes it much easier. There's one more. I'm not sure why they didn't show it here, but there is a DB15, and you can tell because obviously it has again 15 in the actual connector itself. Any questions or doubts? Those are the ones that you need to really know as for DB connectors. Network cables. You have your RJ45 connector. This guy has 8 lines compared to your RJ11 telephone line. That one would have 4. It's much smaller, obviously, compared to the other one. Any questions, doubts? Okay. Next slide, 24. We have the audio connectors, which here you can see it's a shielded stereo audio cable. We have your left and right. Easiest way to remember always between left and right. Red starts with an R, so that's my right. Anything else will be my left. Make sense? Red, right. And then your white one is your left. And obviously this is what it looks like, the 1.8 stereo audio jack male connector that goes to the back of your computer. And if you notice, it's green. So if I have any doubts when I'm going and there's 3 circles in the back, that's going to the green guy. If this one came with, obviously, the computer that it pertains to. Okay, installing input-output peripheral devices. Christina, can you help me with this slide, please?
Read the manufacturer's directions. Make sure the drivers provided with the device are written for the operating system you're using. Make sure the motherboard port you are using is enabled. Install drivers or plug in the device. Some devices are plug and play, while others require you to install the drivers before plugging in. Install the application software to use the device.
Thank you. This was very important, number 2. Sometimes we get the wrong drivers, even if we have it for the right operating system. We need to make sure, is it for the correct 64 or 86 operating system when it comes to Windows? Even the Linux and everything, we need to make sure whatever we're installing, it is the right type of drivers for the system itself. Thank you, Christina. Okay, so we got a little drawing here. So who's the purple guy here on the top left?
PS2 keyboard specifically.
Okay. The green one here, Alexa, can you help me with the green one? What picture does he have next to him? In case if we don't know what the green one is, it kind of puts a picture there. What do you think?
Is it the port, the Ethernet port?
No, not the black one. Sorry, this one up here, the green one. It has this picture next to it. It's next to the purple one. What? This green one here. What do you think? And it has this picture. This little creature there. Has a tail. Cats like to chase it.
Oh, it's the mouse?
Yes. So yeah, so the mouse, the PS2 mouse to be specific. So you have 2 identical ports, as Lázaro stated a second ago. We had the purple one, which has the PS2 keyboard, and that would be a PS2 port for the mouse. Justin, can you help me with the black port here? It has that weird doohickey next to it. It looks like a weird fancy E or Egyptian symbol. I don't know what you want to call it. And it's a rectangle, a black rectangle. What port can that be?
That would be the USB ports.
Thank you. Okay. DeAndre, the port over here with, it looks like 3 rectangles connecting to it. That's a picture with like a line in the middle and 3 little rectangles connected right there. It looks like a picture of something there. I don't want to give too much of a hint. And it's a square connector. Square looking
That's the
connector.
serial port.
I'm sorry?
Is that the serial port?
A serial port would have a DB connector. I'll give you that much of a hint. I'm in this black one though. I'm not sure if you can see my screen. Black one here.
Huh.
It looks either like some sort of
The
phone.
internet port, right?
A what? I'm sorry, it broke up.
The internet port.
That is correct. That would be the Ethernet port, the network port. Easy way to determine that. Once again, we start getting used to these pictures. It has 3 little computers with a line representing a bus or network cable, and the 3 computers are connecting to it. So that's mimicking the picture of a network. So whenever you see that picture anywhere, that's representing a network for you. Then that little hieroglyphic one that we saw before, that's USB, representing all the different connections, how he can tree out. I remember we could say we could have so many of them, so they want to represent how it looks, like a little graphical thing of a whole bunch of things that can connect to one port. Next one here, the light blue connector. Can we have Pablo help us out here with this light blue connector here? Looks like a 0, a 1, a 0, a 1 inside a little rectangle box as his picture. Pablo? Did we lose Pablo again for the internet? I think we lost.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh.
I'm here. Trying my best.
All right.
All right, so we got the light blue one.
So what shape is it? What does it look like? What shape?
It's a male.
Okay, it's
DB.
male. DB, okay. So we know it's male, it's DB.
Maybe like a serial port.
That is correct. That is a serial port, usually used for communications. Depending on the program, you might have to set your BIOS to mimic COM1. In some cases, some programs mandate COM2. So you have to go into the BIOS and tell it to mimic as this port being COM2. It is a serial port for use for dial-up and modems. Thank you. Next one, we have Jordan. Can you tell me what this pink guy here is? What shape is he? Type of connector?
That one would be printer, no?
Yes, it's a printer port, correct. But what shape is it also? Can you tell me what shape is this? Of the type of connector? I know a printer goes there, an LPT1 printer port. I agree with you. But if they ask me what type of connector was that, for instance, up here, we said these were PS2 ports, right? But then this one was the keyboard. This is the mouse. I agree with you. This is a printer port. But if I had another connector that was identical and it didn't have that pink, what type of connector can you call it? A what?
You said if you had another identical connector.
Yeah, well, I have this guy here. I have this guy here. Looks identical, but they all have different DB. That is correct. Is a DB what? Is it a DB9, DB15, DB25, DB45, hut, on 2? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not gonna write shit right off the top of the head right now.
Okay, I'll give you a clue. So
With the holes, I know
the one that's serial and the old antiquated ones are usually the DB9s and the male connectors. Then over here, the printer will be DB25. DB25. Then your joystick, which I might as well say because I'm already here, is your DB15.
Okay.
So the yellow guy over here, for those that didn't know, game port is a joystick. Thank you, Jordan. Hey, Lázaro, can you tell me what's this dark blue guy?
Oh, that's a D shell or a VGA 19 pin slot.
Okay.
Did I see it right? Sorry, I have my monitor far away. That's one you showed, right?
The connector there for the VGA. Mm-hmm. It's SVGA port, right?
Yeah.
It's a DB what?
19.
19, are we
19
sure?
pin.
19, we sure? We sure?
Yeah, 19. It has 19 pins. It's a D type.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 3 times 5. I'm not getting 19. I don't know why. It's actually a 15 that I'm aware of. The SVGA ports are 15, DB15. It's a weird DB15 connector. There's another DB15 that we have here, which has the 9 and 8. No, is it 9, 8 and 7? Sorry, 8 and 7, I think it is. And then you have this one that has 555s. It's a usual VGA connector. Weird.
Oh, so it is 15. I don't know why I thought it was 19.
I'm not sure. I think there's one that's 9. I'm not sure if there's any of them that's 19. I'm not sure which connector is 19.
Are there different versions? I mean, I know
Maybe
there's
the
different versions.
XVGA. Let me look up XVGA. Maybe XVGA connector is the one that's 19. Not because XVGA, I don't know.
There is a DB19 connector.
Yes, I agree. Not for video. Not for. I haven't seen for video. We can. That might be the. The only thing I can think is maybe XVGA is the only thing.
I think I'm mixing up my pins with the DVI. I think 19 pin is a DVI.
Okay.
Maybe. I have to find out, or I got that number in my head.
Yeah, I think it might be the other video. That's what I was thinking of. DVI or the
Single,
white
right?
one, right? The white one.
Yeah, and that would be a single one, I think. The single line, not the dual line, I think.
Yeah, not a problem. Next one. Thank you, Lázaro. Carlos. Did Carlos make it? Yeah, Carlos made it, right?
Maybe we lost him too.
Carlos. Oh, no, I know he was coming in late. I'm not sure if he's still here. And next one. Mohammed. What's this guy here? The one that looks like a circle here. I'm not going to give you a hint because
It's the speaker.
Thank you. Yeah, because that icon. I could only pray that everybody recognizes this icon. That is a speaker icon. That is correct. All right, so now, next one. Teresa. This one here, the green hole. Has a little, yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, so that is the, I think that's the microphone.
This one here in the middle, the one in the middle has like a little U-shaped thing that might go on your head.
Yeah, the microphone one.
No, that would be the bottom one, no? That looks like a microphone. A little stick where I talk into. What would be something that I put on my head that goes like that, around my head, on the top of my head?
I mean, yeah, that's the headphones and like the
There we go.
speaker.
Yeah, headphones. The first one was speaker. Then the middle one was headphones, and then the last one was mic.
So it's line in.
We have line in, right? We also have capability of line in. So if I see any line in here, which one you think might be a line in? If I had to choose between speakers and line in, which one you guys think would be a line in / line out port?
I think that last one.
That would be
middle one.
That would be a microphone, right?
I think she meant the one in the middle.
This one here in the middle is still pushing me towards headphones, no?
I think green is speakers / headphones.
Correct. And then this one here, whenever you see this guy here, if you ever have any doubts and your computer says that you only have a line in, you might have a line in / line out port. It would have this guy here because it's in stereo. It's a mic input that's in stereo. The headset, automatically they put the little headset signal on. So that you would connect your speakers to. Makes sense?
Mhm.
All right. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm crazy, but it may be a lunatic you're looking for. Nobody? Really? Come on, guys. There's none of these songs, I tell you. Okay, number one. Number one is Justin. Can you tell me what number one is?
A RJ45,
Thank you.
otherwise known as a network cable.
Yes. Number two, Pablo.
That'll be a DB9.
We're in the next slide. Sorry about that. That was my fault. We're in
Okay.
we're in slide 27.
Okay, we got number 2.
Yeah.
Is that just like a regular USB?
Close, but it's blue. So which one would it be?
Um,
If I had to choose between 1, 2, or 3, what USB would you say if it's blue in the inside? Anyone want to chime in and help? Which one is the blue one out of all
It's the
USBs?
3 B connector.
No, A.
3.0.
A, yes, it's a 3.0 A connector because the rectangle is A always. Well, out of all of them, it's always any of them that you see that's a rectangle like this, it's the A one. The ones that look weird would be the B ones. The majority of them, once again, not all of them. As Jordan showed us, at micro or A was funky looking, but it had like a big doohickey grabbing on the end of the cable. Number 3, any questions on 2? Everybody okay with it? It's an A 3.0. DeAndre, number 3. Give you a big clue. They're writing it, the answer here. You know what 1394 means? That's a huge clue.
That's a USB, what do you call it, mini?
It is not USB. I can give you that much of a clue because if it was USB, I would see the little tree, right? The little example of the little sticks coming out. That's a USB icon. See? You always see this on the cable when it's USB. But if it's 1394, that's a huge hint for me that it's Firewire. Let me see. I think I can find it here. Here you are. Found it over here. Firewire. Anything that says 1394, that would be a type of Firewire. Any questions on the icons between the USB icon and this little icon of 1394?
So, is it A or B? 1394A or B?
Is it an A or a B? Good question. Is there a variance in 1394? Did they give us a tip variance for the connectors?
4 and 9, right?
There's a 4 and a 6, and then there's a 9 pin.
That's all they gave us, right? They didn't tell us it was A or B.
A has 4 or 6, and B has 9.
Okay. And the shape?
It doesn't say anything about the shape.
chose the B for Firewire.
B is rectangular. B.
I think I lost audio for a while. What number are we in? I
3.
thought we're number. Oh,
We're
wait,
on 3.
we're still in 3. I thought we're on 4.
No, we're on 3. We're on 3.
Oh,
The team is asking, is there a variance between, is this an A or a B Firewire connector?
let me try to look closer to it.
Looks like an A because it has a more rectangular.
I know I have class notes actually on that. Hold on, let me
I think
look.
it's an A.
I'm not sure actually. Yeah. Wait a second. I think I do. I think that's an A because I think the B has like a little extra part.
I don't think it showed a B in the nearby.
Because I know that the A, the 400 is a 4-pin and the 800 is a 9-pin. It's not showing the pins though.
Not a problem. It'll probably show us in the next page, maybe. I can't see it very well. I'm thinking it's an A, but I can't see it very well to tell you otherwise, but I think it is an A. Next one here. What's 4? Because the B, if I remember, the B always looks like some weird trapezoid, I said, and it has like a little B shape, either a trapezoid or a B shape for it to be considered B. What do we say is 4?
It is A. It is A. I just checked.
It's A, right? Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Not a problem. So number 4.
That's the PS2, something like that.
Yeah, and if it's purple, for who am I going to use this PS2 for?
Keyboard.
Printer.
Correct.
Keyboard.
Keyboard, yeah. So it's a PS2. I know for sure it's a PS2. And since it's purple, it's going to go for the keyboard most likely. Next one, 5.
That's the smaller one. For the
RJ11.
phone.
Yes, RJ11.
RJ11.
And lastly, this guy here, this doohickey, the
Micro USB.
Mini.
Mini.
Mini. Yeah, that's the one right after. That's the Mini. And the other one is a little bit smaller. Okay. If you guys like, let's go to lunch. We can, or you guys want to review the test real quick?
We'll do test real quick.
Review the quiz real quick.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it goes pretty
I
quick.
can't do it.
All
I
right.
can't do
Number 1. Jordan, you seem very eager to help.
Yeah, this was like the one where I actually sat down and wrote down notes.
Diego, can you share your screen so I could see the question?
Super
okay.
speed.
If you get to the last one, the thing is, if I share my screen, it says the answer. That's the problem.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, get to the last slide. It should give you the test or the quiz. Which port types offers the fastest transfer? Which one?
The super speed USB,
Right?
which is
Super speed,
USB
yeah.
3.0.
That is correct. Number 2, Ahmad, what is the fastest speed that high-speed USB can go?
P480.
Yes, sir, that is correct. Number 3, Christina, what is the maximum length of a cable that a 2.0 can go? Only one. Only one that can go that far of the 3 USBs.
A or I don't know.
See?
I have a question.
Yeah,
I thought the USB can go 6 meters.
5
I
meters.
see 6.
5 meters.
Okay.
5 meters.
I mean, technically speaking, it can go past 5 if it's a generation 3, but the quality drastically goes off
Yeah,
after 5 meters.
the speed goes down tremendously. and you can have problems with it. But obviously, it's either 1 meter or 5 meters, and the USB 2.0 goes up to 5 meters. He's the only one that's different. All the other ones is 1 meter. Questions? 4. Teresa, which of the following external ports would a technician use to connect the keyboard? Select 2.
The PS2
And what else?
and I think the PS2 and the USB, right?
That is correct. Good job, guys. Like it. And the last one, Pablo, which of the following types of connectors would it be found to connect printers and scanners to a device that did not have any network connection?
Can you repeat the question and can you give me the options because I can't see it?
Yeah, not a problem. So which of the following types of connectors would be found to connect printers and scanners? So this connector is used for printers and scanners. Now, is that and without using the network? Can't use a network. The choices are RJ45, parallel, RJ11, or a Bnc connector. Bnc connector.
It'll be a Bnc connector.
A Bnc. We talked about Bnc connector.
I don't know
No,
what
wait.
that is.
Because the printer isn't the printer connector the DV one.
Yes, it's a DB one. So out of these, which one's a DB port? An RJ45, a parallel port, a RJ11, or a Bnc? Which one's a DB connector?
A parallel port. Parallel port.
Perfect. Yes. Now, in reference, thank you. In reference to the Bnc, yeah, that was the one that I was getting confused with the name DB, because DB is actually the shape itself is meaning, I don't know, but Bnc is named after the guy, and that's actually, there's 2 of them. The old coaxial cables used to have a locking mechanism, which I'll show you now the picture of a Bnc connector, and it locks stuff into place. It's used still for video a lot. It's used for various other things, not used anymore for network cables per se. But a Bnc cable, or sorry, connector, is this guy here.
Is it used for token rings by any
That was
chance?
funny, Diego. Let's share your screen, Diego. All right, here we go. This guy here, that's a Bnc connector. It's a coaxial cable that locks into place.
Like the TV cable.
Correct, but it doesn't have the screw. This is a locking mechanism.
Okay, so it doesn't have the little needle or whatever.
Yes, the needle's in the middle. You see it there?
Mm-hmm.
So the outside, though, doesn't have threads like in the other one. See, this is what the other side looks like. He has a little doohickey there, expecting you to just insert him into that socket. That's what a Bnc connector is. You guys also see that type of connector on the fiber, but they call that one a SC connector. And it's basically, the name is from Bayonet Neil Councilman or something like that. That's why he got his name from the guy or creator of this thing. Bnc connectors. Not used much for networking anymore. The majority of this is done for audio still. They're awesome for audio and or other stuff with computers, but not meant for networking anymore. Obviously, we still use coaxial for our house. Usually your cable, though, is coming up to your region, or what they call the distribution box near your area. It's coming in fiber to there. And then the last mile or the last so many feet is coming in coaxial to your house. Any questions or doubts before we go to lunch? I think we went nicely over. Thank you very much. No? Hola Juan, hola tú. All right, guys. I'll see you guys in about an hour. There's no other questions or doubts. We'll stop the recording here.